Hey, good morning, everyone. So what am I working on now? Well, I have this GMC Sierra. It appears to be like an 05, 06-ish maybe. Not quite sure yet. I'll figure that out in a minute. The customer's complaint is he's got something going on with the brakes. He says every once in a while it acts crazy. That's all he could say. He says it'll vibrate really bad. Okay. Well, I took the truck home last night. I didn't experience anything. It does have an ABS light on. So, are we dealing with an ABS issue? I'm thinking we are, but I don't know yet. So, I didn't have a scanner with me because I wasn't thinking initially that it was going to be, possibly an ABS problem. So, I got the scanner hooked up. Let me start this upside. Some AC because, man alive, it's humid. So, but anyway, like I said, I took it home last night. I had zero issue with the brakes. It was pouring rain. This morning, it was not raining at all. So, I got both ends of the spectrum in terms of that. But, excuse me. So, anyway, yeah, I had zero issues. The brakes felt fine. A very, 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 very slight pulsation. This thing has 231,000 miles on it. And let's find out what year this thing is. I got the scanner hooked up, like I said. Let's go into it. I'm just selecting what it is. GMC. Now let's go down to automatic ID. I'm not a morning person. Okay, so it is an 05. Oh, it's a 4.8. Actually, the motor feels good. The 4.8s always feel good. They got good low end pickup, especially with the 4L60 transmission. The gear ratio is it's like a perfect combination. Let's do a code scan. See if we come up with anything. Right front wheel speed sensor circuit fault. Okay. Probably going to be a hub bearing. Although you can change just a sensor. Maybe we'll do just a sensor because you can change just a sensor on these. It's not an uncommon failure. See how it kicked back? I always tell you it kicks back. That's why I usually don't scroll. I usually wait. This should go relatively quick because there's nothing there. Or at least, not too many modules. It always hangs on the last one a little bit. Then it completes. Okay. So, right front wheel speed sensor circuit fault. Okay. Fog lamp circuit, obviously we're not concerned about that. Lamp codes, don't care about that. Don't care about that. Alright, so there's really nothing here that we need to worry about other than that. So, let's go back. It's a circuit fault, and ABS should be the type of situation where as soon as you restart it, it rescans itself. So in other words, if you fix the problem, it should rescan itself, hold the light on momentarily. As soon as you start driving it, if it's repaired, it should clear the light on its own. It'll save the code in memory or history, but it should clear it. So I just want to go and I want to look at the data, and I want to see what it shows for all the wheels. It may be 2 for the front and 1 for the rear. I don't know how this setup is. I didn't look underneath it yet, but that's usually what they are. Some of these do have 2 in the front, 2 in the rear, but a lot of times it only has 1 in the rear, and it reads off the ring gear. Or actually a tone wheel that's sandwiched in between the ring gear and the carrier. So let's see what the data shows. Okay, yep. Yeah, rear wheel is just a single sensor. So let's start driving this up the road a little bit. Or I should be able to do this right in the parking lot. So this starts at 3 miles an hour. Some vehicles will start at 0. The GM starts at 3. Yeah, see, right front's not registering anything. Alright, so where do we go from here? As you saw, the other ones changed to 8 miles an hour. The right front stayed at 0. So where do we go from here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing inside and on the lift. We have a broken lift in the shop, unfortunately, so we're down to one lift right now. What happened was Mo was bringing a truck in with a torn out front suspension. We bought it for the engine tranny and transfer case to put into another truck. So he was bringing it in. He had it on the front end loader, and he put the lift up, like he had it up already on the loader, put the lift up and into it. He went to let the truck down. Now the front end loader actually has pressure down. It doesn't just relax to come down, it actually pressures down. So what happened was he went to go bring it down, not realizing that he was actually hooked into the frame rail on the right side, which doesn't matter right side, left side, because it pulled the whole thing down. So what happened was it started to pull it down, not realizing he was pulling it down. So it put all the weight on the front arms, and it actually broke both front arms on the lift. I mean, they did this. They twisted down, and it actually broke the weld across the top. So we have a guy who has a welding shop who says, yes, it is repairable as long as we can get it straight. Obviously, you can't heat it to straighten it. It's going to have to be a cold bend to get it straight. Don't want to heat it and just change the temper of the metal, because the back plates and everything else, they did bend. So what we're going to do is we got the truck off the lift, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a jack stand underneath the arm and use the front end loader to push down on the lift to try to get the arm to go from this to straighten out. You follow? I'll include a picture of what it looks like right now. I kind of can't film it because there's going to be so much noise with that front end loader. It's a diesel running inside the shop. There's no way I can even show that. It's going to be pointless at that point, because I got to pay attention to what I'm doing too, while he pushes down on the loader for me to get the arms to be in the position they're supposed to be in. Once we get them straight, we got to take the arms off, and then the welding shop, they said they should be able to weld that with no issue and get that straight, and then he'll put like a reinforcement brace on it or something. So, but yeah, just what a disaster that turned into. But yeah, regardless, something besides the point. I'm going to get this thing inside the shop once I have an opening, and we're going to probably just get a right front wheel speed sensor, because like I said, I don't hear any wheel bearing noise, so it should not be an issue. But then again, if the sensor breaks in the hub, that's a pain in the neck, which they do, because it's a plastic sensor that inserts down and it's bolted down to the hub, and then you have to unbolt it and then usually twist it and pull it out. A lot of times it gets rusted in there and you cannot get them out. So then at that point you got to drill them out. Too often at that point, when you get to that point, too often it doesn't want to come apart cleanly. So it's like, you know what, just put a hub on it and be done with it. So I gotta see what Mo wants to do, but maybe we're gonna put a hub on it. We'll find out. All right, I'm rambling. So we're back in the shop. I got the truck on the lift over there. This is the back lift. We tried to straighten the arms out. Can't get them straight enough to where they would actually work out. Let me just show you what happened real quick. We did not try to straighten, and if you look, see how the arm is broken right there, and if you look, you can see the angle of the arms. See that? Because that's all the weight was put on the front arms, and it snapped them off. You know, they're not designed to hold 30,000 pounds. That we got kind of straight, but it's not right. You can see it's much better than the other side, but that's about as far as we can get it. So we're either going to get 2 new arms. We're trying to see if they're still available. And if they're not available, then we're going to get a new lift. Yeah, so there's that airbag module. Here's that truck. That's another video that I'm doing. But, so we're on to the Sierra. I got the wheel off. And here's the ABS sensor. It comes in right there. I may be able to get that out with a ball style Allen. Let me see if I can do that, because if not, then you got to pull the rotor and everything else off. which is really, I mean, not a big deal. But if I can get a ball style Allen in there and break that free, then that's what I'm going to do. Let me see if I can do that. Now this is what I mean by a ball style Allen. And these things work really good because it kind of allows you to go in at an angle to get to the Allen head. I don't know if they make these in Torx with anything, but where am I? Oh, right there. Can you see that? But yeah, I was able to get in there and I actually broke it free. So let me get that out of there and let me see if the sensor itself will come out. Sorry about the shaking there. So I got that out, and the beauty of that, like I said, look at that, how you can get a nice angle on that. But you got to be careful because where it's neck down, if that bolt is too tight, you can easily snap the tool. You know, snap that little ball end off, and then you basically just have a regular Allen key after that. So just something you got to be mindful of. But it came out nice and easy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brake clean this area nice, and then I'm going to try pulling the sensor out. Hopefully it just comes straight out. So it's all nice and brake clean there. So let's see. It should come right out. Yeah, look at that. It moves. Yeah, came right out. So now on some of these, they're going to have this shim. The shim is necessary on some it's not. What I will usually do is I'll try inserting it without the shim first. The shim is to keep it from hitting the tone wheel that's down inside there. Look inside the hole. You see the tone wheel? Rotate the wheel. You see how it moves in there? So it's to move the actual sensor away from it. So what I usually do is I'll take this new sensor and I'll put it in and see if this actually contacts. If it does contact, then I'll put the shim in. Pretty simple. Somebody for some reason zip tied it because they didn't know that this clip goes right here. No idea why. Then this one has a tendency to break in the control arm when you go to pull it out. And then just take a little drill bit or a punch and punch it through because it's a through hole. Take this clip out and here is the connector right up here. Usually just using a pry tool or whatever, you know, door panel tool, you can get that thing right off of there. So let's get this off and see. Oh, actually here. It's a CarQuest that I'm using. Here's the new design. It comes with, well, it's not really a new design. It comes with grease because you want to pack some grease around it. It comes with a new bolt too to hold it in place. If you notice, that bolt's got Loctite on it, whereas the original bolt, I didn't see any. Because that's a replacement hub, so I know that's not a factory hub in here. It wouldn't be that clean if it was. At least I wouldn't think it would be. But it is a down south car, so anything is possible. But judging by this wire, I'm going to say that no, that's a replacement hub. All right, let's get this switched over. All right, it's hot as all get out here again today, so I got to have fans on. So I'm just breaking the zip tie, that's all. Regular door panel tool, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay, like I said, a lot of times this will break off in there, but this is a through hole, so you can just push it through. Let's see. Hopefully you can see all of that. That just popped off. Usually the factory ones too, they get so stuck in there, it's like you can't get them out to save your life. So, where is it? There it is. Okay. So you see how that came out. Not a big deal. So now the new one, let me just back this out so you can see what I got to do here. So the new one, I am just packing or unpacking the grease and the bolt. Then off to the side. And of course I'm trying to open up the pack of grease and it doesn't want to tear for nothing. Okay, hang on a second. Off camera I got it to tear, but there was like a little spout that came out and it's supposed to tear into that, but it never actually did. So here I'm just going to pack some grease on it. Then we're going to stick this in the hole. Let me see if I can't get you to see what I'm doing again. Now what I'm going to do is just get that thing in place and bottom it out. And then I'm rotating the rotor while I'm holding it down with my thumb, because I'm feeling to see if there's any contact with the hub. Spin the hub all the way around, and I don't feel any contact. So I'm good with that. I'm leaving the shim out. So now, getting the bolt started. Sometimes that can be kind of tricky, but luckily, I got this tool here. These tools, I don't use them often, these ball end sockets, but I tell you what, when you need them, they come in unbelievably handy. You know, I'll put a link in the description. I'll find a set of these on Amazon that I would use. These are snap-ons, yes, because I needed them for something. He happened to be there, so he got the sale. Once it's bolted down, spin it again. Feel it, just to make sure you're not contacting it. So everything felt good. So now, let's route the wire. And let's try to do it the right way. All right, so this end is just going to insert into this clip here. There we go. I don't know if you could hear it snap or not. And then this end goes down into the control arm. And then the other end, basically, like I always say, reverse procedure to install. This is kind of difficult for me to show you, so I'm just going to kind of do it and then show you at the end what it looks like. Sometimes finding a spot where it has to go back is a little tricky. Alright. So that wasn't bad. It was pretty simple. Luckily I could get to it. Well, there we are. It's all in place. Kind of not crazy about how this end winds up, but it is what it is. What can you do? So, alright. He wants a tire rotation, so I'm going to rotate the tires. And then we're going to take this thing on a road test. Yes, I got to have a rag stuck in here because it's so darn humid. Sweat just pours off this thing into my face. Some days it happens. Things just don't go right. What could go wrong with a tire rotation, you say, right? Well, just turned into a nightmare. Check this out. Got a stuck lug nut. Will not come out. The stud is actually spinning. So, what do I do on this one? Tell you what I do. I'm going to make a separate video. Let me make that video, and then we'll continue this when I go to road test this. Okay, so with that wheel debacle all finished, and I got that wheel speed sensor completely done. Remember I said in a few other videos that the ABS system should be like a self-clearing type of system. Like once it realizes everything's okay, it should shut the light off immediately. Not like a check engine light where it could read the sensors okay, but it'll still leave the light on for a while. ABS and airbag should, once it realizes everything's okay, it should shut the lights off. So I'm going to start it up. It may go out right away once it sees it, because it may not, before it wasn't seeing anything. It may shut it off right away. I may have to drive it a little bit. Then again, I could be completely wrong. I have been in the past, and may have to actually put the scanner on it and clear it. We're going to find out in a second. So, I shut the light off. ABS is down there. Oh, yep, there it goes. As soon as I started it, it cleared it. So, obviously it saw the repair, so now I'm going to take it for a ride again and just to see how it is. Because, like I said, I never experienced a problem to begin with. That's a very good possibility that it was creating some kind of an issue and an ABS stop. Kind of makes sense because he said he was getting a heavy vibration. And of course, I drove it home and I live 20 miles from here. And, I'm in stop and go traffic and I didn't experience anything. So, all right, let's go for a ride. All right, everyone. So I went on my 20-mile road test. Everything's fine. I didn't experience anything with the brakes. Like I said, I didn't experience it to begin with. So no ABS light, no brake light. Everything's fine. I just went on my typical road test up to the church and back, which is roughly 20 miles. So, that was a pretty simple fix. you know, like I said, luckily I was able to get the sensor out without having to take the rotor off. A lot of times you can't just do that, and especially if it broke coming out, then you got to get in there and drill it out. Yeah, then you got to take the rotor and that off so you have a straight shot. And if it did break and you had to drill it out, as you saw in there, you can see the tone wheel. You got to be very careful about how far you're going in. You know, if you can measure the new sensor and put a stop or something on the drill bit, you know, to prevent you from going all the way down. Just because if you go all the way down, you ruin the tone wheel. Then you got to put a new hub and bearing on it. So, all right, well, that's it. Hopefully you got something out of my video. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. If you look down in the description, you'll see I got links to Amazon stuff. I'll see, like I said, I'm going to see if I can find some of those ball Allen sockets. That's something that I would personally use and put in there. So it's all the stuff in Amazon. It's stuff that I either personally own or I highly recommend. And it's all budget-friendly stuff for the at-home person. You know, hey, me being a professional mechanic, I use most of that stuff anyway for myself on a professional level. So, and you know, it means it gets used every single day, or not every single day, but you know what I mean. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching. Thanks for watching.